The whole presumed competence thing, this was something that was often brought up in the tapes. What are your thoughts on your MO as, someone who's helping a non-speaking autistic child to presume competence?
Oh my gosh, this is Francie and I talk about this, like, in our free time a lot. We really we are both very passionate about our jobs, very passionate about the people that we work with, and we wanna be the absolute best clinicians that we can be for the betterment of the people that we're working with. But we kind of struggle with this phrase in particular, with this presumed competence phrase. And I won't speak for you too much, Francie, but I know just for me personally, I think that with the telepathy tapes and with spelling to communicate, I have seen this phrase that is really well-meaning become kind of dangerous in the hands of people that are spreading misinformation. So I prefer to use the phrase presume capacity or to have open expectations.
Mm,
So again, we're not limiting kids in accordance with their diagnosis or anything like that, but we are it's kind of a reframe from instead of assuming that they already have the skill, assuming that they can achieve the skill with support or just, saying that admitting that we don't know what they're capable of.
Yeah, I think people often are like, well, you're just playing semantics. But I think semantics are really important in this situation, specifically when we're talking about children who are vulnerable and need everything that we can give them. And so, once again, from the children perspective, we work with kids, always have to caveat that. But when we look at the presumed competence, first of all, background, it's also connected to the FC movement. And so, FC,
Mhm.
when it was first coming out in the 90s, wanted to push this really hard presumed competence narrative as well. And so, first of all, I'm already kind of skeptical. But presuming competence, when I see it being enacted, is not under the good faith of, well, we should presume that they can, which was its original intention, which to open pathways for children to try different, take different approaches or being exposed to different academic material. And so I prefer open expectations because I wanna go in and let the kids let me know exactly where they're at so we know what skills to work on. Too often, I have seen bad actors come in and not teach children things like literacy because they were like, "Well, I'm just presuming competence, like, I'm being the good guy here, presuming that they can. What do you mean, Francie? I have to teach this kid to read. I should just assume that they already can." And I'm like, "That's not the
yeah.
intention, that's not the intention." And so I see that a lot once again in here with telepathy tapes, we should presume competence about them. That's cool. And I believe that they have the capacity to communicate. That's my whole job. My issue is I want to make sure that they are being taught the skills that they actually need.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a subtle switch, the competence versus the capacity, but it makes sense. I mean, just like going back to a sports analogy, like if my coach presumed that I knew how to do a squat without throwing out my back and I probably would have destroyed my spine. That's why he had to go through the steps of, this is how you put a bar on your back and you start just simple things like that. If you presume competence, even with smaller things, you could get in a lot of trouble. So it makes sense that when you're talking about something as complicated as speech, that you would even need to be aware of that more so.
Yeah. I think one of my number one issues with spelling to communicate as a program is that it presumes that kids already can read. It doesn't teach literacy or spelling at all. And we know that reading is contrived. We know literacy is like an invented thing. We don't naturally develop the ability to read in the same way we naturally develop the ability to speak. So to have spelling to communicate be this communication system that's reliant upon literacy, yet does not teach literacy at all, that doesn't add up to me. And I don't see how you can really get around that and say that it's a legitimate form of uh, AAC.
Yeah, no, that's something that they do not go over is, like, where did these kids learn how to read? How did they learn how to read? Because it would be like, everything revolves around spelling out these words, so that seems like it would be a super important thing to include in the telepathy tapes, and you mentioned this in your podcast as well. Every kid is spelling perfectly, like, the onion, is, like, a very weird word to spell out, like, if you never saw the word onion spelled out before, that's one of the words from, I think, like, the 2nd or 3rd
Mhm.
episode. I would think it's, like, ONYUN,
Totally.
but, this, like, 7-year-old knows how to spell onion and, like, embarrass. Like, I literally like, misspell the word embarrass now as a 32-year-old man, like, so that it is a little bit sketchy.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely that's something that so in our time since finding out about the telepathy tapes and S2C, we've both kind of tried to do our homework as best we can and figure out like, okay, is there any basis to this? And the literacy thing is the thing that I keep coming back to of they're either not sharing how they teach literacy. I haven't been able to find it on any official S2C websites or research that they put out, anything like that. So they're either not sharing or they're just not doing it. And if it's the latter, then that to me is a big point in the bucket against its validity.